This is the book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse 4 in the NLT. The wicked are too proud to seek the Most High. They seem to think that the Most High is dead, yet they succeed in everything they do. They do not see your punishment awaiting them. They sneer at all their enemies. They think nothing bad will ever happen to us. We will be free of trouble forever. Their mouths are full of cursing, lies, and threats. Trouble and evil are on the tip of their tongues. They lurk in ambush in the villages, waiting to murder innocent people. They are always searching for helpless victims. Like lions crouched in hiding, they wait to pounce on the helpless. Like hunters, they capture the helpless and drag them away in nets. Their helpless victims are crushed. They fall beneath the strength of the wicked. The wicked think the Most High isn't watching us. He has closed his eyes and won't even see what we do. Arise, O Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Punish the wicked, O power. Do not ignore the helpless. Why do the wicked get away with despising the Most High? They think the Most High will never call us to account. But you see the trouble and grief they cause. You take note of it and punish them. The helpless put their trust in you. You defend the orphans. Break the arms of these wicked, evil people. Go after them until the last one is destroyed. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is king forever and ever. The godless nations will vanish from the land. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Brakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on you, brethren, that's teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Damah Gabar here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, and this is a lesson going against the godless, the wicked, and when you see the way that Esau is moving, he's definitely in the vibration and moving in the spirit as if the Most High isn't watching him, which he knows the Most High is watching him. But we know, through his pride, through his arrogance, through his technology, through his, secrecy, moving behind, the curtain, so to speak, the way that these elites are doing things, behind closed doors, and they present it on the media and on the news and into the world as if it's something great, as if something that's going to help the people. That's something that's always going to benefit everyday people. But now people are waking up to the fact that it's all a bunch of BS. The majority of people are still being fooled. They're still being lied to. They're still drinking the Kool-Aid and falling for the theatrics and the lies and the mainstream narrative. But a lot of people are waking up to the fact that, hey, this man is completely the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. We can see now the way that this devil is moving, he's moving in a way where he's going forward with his New World Order. And a lot of the things that he's doing, as part of his, him trying to establish his New World Order, he's just telling the people straight right to their face. Some of the things he's just coming blatantly out and telling you that, this is what we're going to do. We're bringing cashless society. We're bringing CBDCs. You need to have your biometrics, blah, blah, blah. We're going to mass surveil you. You're going to have your, if you want a bank account, you're going to have your biometrics linked to it. We're doing away with pennies. We're doing away with nickels. The dollar is this, a lot of these things, they're just blatantly coming out and telling you people to your face, ultimately what they're going to do. But they're not, blatantly coming out and telling you that it's going to lead to more oppression and a digital system of slavery. See, this is why it says they lurk in ambushes in the villages, waiting to murder the innocent. Now, of course, they're not literally, the elites are not literally lurking in, every major city of the world to pounce on the helpless and the poor, but they do it from their ivory towers. They lurk on you people, with these secret councils and these secret meetings with their policies, with their agendas. That's how they're lurking on you people. Oh fuck, Salakia, let me take this call. All right, Salakia about that. But yeah, this is how these devils, they lurk, in the villages. They're always searching for helpless victims. And who are the victims? The everyday citizens, and now they're lurking against all citizens across the world. It's a global lurking, so to speak, because this new world order system they're looking to establish is going to be a global digital prison system Salakia, for every single individual on this planet Earth. And it's going to all culminate with them putting the micro C hip, which is the charagma, the mark of the beast in you people, man. You see? And now the way that they're going to bring this new world order in is they're going to manufacture it. They're going to force it upon you people. You know, they're going to force these biometrics, these digital, universal basic incomes. You know, they're going to they're going to intentionally and purposely collapse this economy. This is what Donald Trump was ultimately elected president and given the second term to do, which is totally demolish the economic system as we know it, so that they can bring in this new form of digital currency, bring in this new world order, a whole digital slave system, man. You see, you know. Like it says here, there's nothing but trouble and evil on the tip of their tongues. Everything that they say is to prey upon you people and to force you into this system to where you're completely and utterly helpless, man. Put you in 15-minute cities. You're going to have to, operate off of carbon taxes, you know. Everything will be tracked and traced and monitored and watched. All aspects of your daily activities is going to be heavily surveilled and monitored, man. You see, to where they're going to have complete and total control over every American and a citizen of this planet Earth, you know, through AI and through this whole digital this digital system they're establishing, you know, and it's all being done completely and wickedness, man. You see, and this is why the scriptures, you know, the prayer goes for the Lord to destroy the wicked, man. Like it says here, you know, they're moving as if the Most High doesn't exist, as if the Most High isn't watching them, as if the Most High isn't a just God. Ultimately, like the Most High is totally with what they're doing. And basically, like their God, you know, they're able to operate with impunity. They're not worried about the consequences of a higher power. They're not worried about, you know, their dastardly and wicked deeds. You know, they're moving as if, hey, there is no God. We are God. We make the rules up as we go, and whatever we seem fit and righteous in our eyes, that's what it's going to be. All right. Hey, and you know, they do all these rituals and these ceremonies. They do all these sacrifices, you know, to where, you know, everything that they do is completely justifiable, no matter how wicked, no matter how much of an abomination or how much of a sin it is against the scriptures. They're going to operate in that way. You see, and this is why the Lord is going to eventually rise to punish the wicked. But the main point being is that, you know, everything that you see happening is all being manufactured, man, because it's all in line to bring in this new world order. And I want to show this little quick article here. Right. It says the fertilizer shock of 2026-2027, a man-made famine in the making. See, because why? They're going to use this famine ultimately to, to enslave humanity. They're going to use this famine as a way to bring, hunger, desperation, and ultimately to, gain more control over you people. And these devils know, oh, shit, one way to gain control over a population and over its citizens is to control the flow of food. And this is one of the many reasons why this whole war over there between Iran and Israel and America is being used. Of course, it's serving many purposes, but one of the main focus is to put a chokehold on the fertilizer supply, you know, and all of the energy and the oil that flows through that place to bring in, another lockdown. But this time it's not going to be a pandemic of a sickness. It's going to be a lockdown of resources and energy and fertilizer and food. And around 2027 is when it's really going to hit hard. And it's going to what? Who is it going to benefit the most? Are these elites, man? Remembering these things are not happening by chance. They're all being done intentionally. So let's read just a little bit of this, right? It says the crisis that shouldn't be a surprise, right? Because at the end of the day, everything that you see happening, you know, don't think of it as just perfect timing. A lot of this shit is being done intentionally by these elites because they have a playbook they go by and they have an agenda that's in play. Hey, and part of that agenda is going to cause the lives of a lot of you citizens, a lot of you goyim, a lot of you useless eaters, as they deem you, because in their eyes, it's going to serve a greater purpose of giving them more control. So it says, we are watching a catastrophe unfold that was entirely predictable. The current fertilizer crisis is not a natural disaster. It is the direct result of globalist policies, financialization, and just-in-time supply chain that prioritizes profit over food security. The triple shock, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, China's export ban, and Russia's quota system has already doubled urea prices in many markets, but the real story is how vulnerable countries have been left exposed by a system that values corporate margins over human lives. See, and these devils crunch all the numbers. They know exactly what, doing that triple shock, the results that it will have, man. See, look, these elites and these globalists, they're not stupid. They're not dumb. They're not, that stupid to where they're just making these mistakes and it's just having all of these drastic effects. No, they know exactly how to manipulate and how to force these effects into place, to use it to gain more power and more, to be able to gain control. You see, they're not that stupid, man. These guys are very wise. Scriptures tell you that the serpent was more cunning than any beast in the garden, meaning his cunningness. Esau, Edom, these elites, they know exactly how to manipulate and how to manipulate the system to gain certain results, man. They know exactly how the petrodollar. They created it and they know how to manipulate it to where they could, whenever they want to, they can just intentionally crash it, but make it seem as if it's just a natural phenomenon or that it was caused by, bad management and all that bullshit so that, they could be justified in bringing in a new system, which is going to be what? This new world order system and bringing in AI. You see, and they're going to play on that. Oh, the system was flawed. Oh, we don't know what happened. You see, human error caused all this shit. But really, these devils know exactly the right, calculations and the right things to do to crash this system, because they're going to come with a new system that they totally control, just like they controlled the old one. See, this is why you can't be ignorant to Satan's devices, man. It says, in my view, the mainstream media and international institutions are downplaying the severity because they have no solution that doesn't challenge their own power structures, right? Because they're controlling it. You see, and one thing we know is that these elites own the mainstream media. They own all these outlets, and they own everything, lock, stock, and barrel, that can be used to, shape public perception. The news media, this, that, and the third. It's only through these alternative news sites that you get the real information on it. But eventually, we know they're gonna bottleneck that as well. Pretty soon, they're going to be ready to start coming up against truth tellers and people that are putting out information that's exposing their agenda, to where eventually you'll just only have one source of information that's going to be permittable and force-fed down your throat. It says the historical record shows that man-made famines are not accidents, but engineered outcomes, you see? As William Maxwell McCord wrote, man-made famines in Asia and Africa, the worldwide debt crisis, political tyranny, and corruption, we are now repeating the pattern on a global stage. You see, it's like I said earlier. Now, they've perfected it on local in small areas and different states and places like that, to where now they can now they're ready to do it on a global scale. You see, all of this shit. What did it say? Man-made famines, worldwide debt crisis, political tyranny. These devils, they're in control of all of that shit. The stock market. This is why you got these guys doing these inside trading bets and shit, because the game is rigged, man. All of it is rigged. It's all control. And remember, these devils have the power to create the illusion as if it's not being controlled, as if these are just results of bad management and, and they got bad actors in there and this guy was this and this guy was that. When really a lot of these guys who are in positions of power are controlled by these elites to do certain things, to make certain decisions, But it's all to benefit the elite. It says the UN's Food and Agricultural Organization warned back in 2022 that high fertilizer prices could cause global grain production to plummet by 40%. That warning was ignored. And why was it ignored? Because they were told to ignore it. They were told to just bypass it. They were told to just look beyond it. Just like everything else, like when the whole 2008 crash happened, who did they bail out? The bankers, man. They bailed out the too big to fail. And they knew exactly the result that it would lead to 10 years, 5 years later down the future, that it wasn't really a solution. It was just a temporary Band-Aid on it, but it was just going to only get worse as time went forward. And these devils knew that shit, man. And they were all, it was all set up for these elites and the rich to get richer and for them to benefit and the average everyday citizen to ultimately lose, man. It's always been that way. You see, and this is why these, these devils are so prideful, man. It says the warning was ignored and now we are living the consequences. The crisis is not a surprise. It's a choice made by those who run the system. You see? I'm not going to read all this. It's just basically going into, who's going to suffer from famine and all this other stuff. They try to give you some, we got to plan ahead, blah, 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 blah. No, the only thing that needs to be done is that the Lord needs to come back and take these devils out of rulership and power when they're going to come back to judge them, man. All right, let's get this. This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 15. It says, he that oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. You see? And this is ultimately what's going to come. Like when it read in Psalms, hey, told the Lord to rise up, disappoint the wicked, destroy this devil. And that's ultimately what's going to happen in the grand scheme of things. But we know, things got to play out, as far as prophecy is concerned. But let's read it in the NLT, Proverbs 22:16. A person who gets ahead by oppressing the poor or by showering gifts on the rich will end in poverty. You see, like I said, read James the 5th chapter. It tells you all about the rich man, how his riches are cankered, how eventually, people are going to rise up against this devil. People are going to rise up against, this new world order. It tells you that in Second Ezra's, and it's almost getting to that point. But ultimately, we could just see that, these devils are just collapsing this system and imploding it upon themselves. And really, it's like the biggest, exchange of riches the earth has ever seen, with the rich continuously giving the rich. While, like I said, go on YouTube and look at these videos of all these Americans crashing out, man. People are now living in their cars and now they're making it illegal to live in your cars, man. People are complaining about the price of groceries, the price of living. And remember, like I told you, all these things are being done intentionally, man. It's these elites. They're forcing these, they own all these corporations. They own these apartment complexes. They own a lot of the housing market. So they're intentionally raising the prices on people so that they can, be priced out. These devils, they want people more perplexed. They want you more frustrated. They want you more angrier. They want you more crashing out, because the more you're crashing out and worried about paying the bills and the price of gas and the price of food and deciding between paying your insurance or paying your car note or putting food on the table, you're going to be more focused on that and not focus on, what these devils are doing behind closed doors, what's happening geopolitically, what's happening, the things that really matter. Giving you bread and circuses. These things are all intentional, man. Don't think for 1 minute that they're not. You see, they want you people. Klaus Schwab said, prepare for a more angrier world. All right. They want you people to lose it and to crash out and for the system to basically go up in smoke so they could bring in this new world order system. By the time they let all hell breaks loose and this society collapse and this fertilizer situation, and this man-made famine and manufactured economic implosion happens, when people crash out and completely, absolutely lose it, and there's bedlam and mayhem invading one another, people rising up against the government, pitchforks, tiki torches, people out there on the streets wanting answers. Guess what? They're going to eventually come with the answers, which is going to be this new world order, this new digital slave system that they're going to promise you all type of peace and peace and safety. A brand new system. It doesn't have any errors. You're going to have a robot. You're going to have a universal basic high income. All these, it's going to sound good. But then again, at the same time, you have to understand, this is why they want you people to lose it and go crazy. Because when all hell is breaking loose and people are resorting to cannibalism and, there's all type of dead bodies all over the place and, people have absolutely lost it, they're going to come with a system that's going to promise you the world and peace and safety. They're going to clean things up. But remember, at the same time, you're going to take a deal from the same devil that put you in the goddamn situation that you were in when all hell was breaking loose, man. See? This is why the scriptures say, never to trust thine enemy, though he pretend to help thee, no, he's going to undermine thee, man. So this is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 6. I read in the NLT. It says, for fools speak foolishness and make evil plans. They practice ungodliness and spread false teachings about. Oh, I gotta read up. Oh no, I'm good. It says they practice ungodliness and spread false teachings about the Lord. They deprive the hungry of food and give no water to the thirsty. You see? And this is what they're manufacturing right now, is to put you in this total situation right here, man. And we know why. It says the smooth tricks of scoundrels are evil, right? And that whole manufactured famine, their whole controlling of this economic system, how they're purposely imploding it, how they're forcing a lot of these wars, just all of their wickedness is totally, you know, the tricks, the smooth tricks of scoundrels, man. You see, it says they plot crooked schemes. They lie to convict the poor, even when the cause of the poor is just right. Hey, eventually, when people get fed up and losing and start really, marching and protesting, and people start speaking out against the tyranny and the injustice and the corruption, hey, now they're getting ready to firing squads and lethal injections and pretty soon public hangings, man. Because why? They're going to have to be, they're going to eventually start to deem you people that are, rising up and exposing their bullshit and standing for the injustices as being enemies, man. And they're going to start putting a lot of you protesters, a lot of you truth seekers, even a lot of the prophets and the men of the Lord in prison. They're going to put your head in the guillotine. They're going to put you before the firing squad. They're trying to bring back summary executions, public hangings. They showed you this in all these future dystopian movies, man. When people buck up against the system and do things that are, outside of their control, it's going to be met with, with judgment, you see? But hey, this is where things are headed and this is where things are going, man. But it's all according to prophecy, man. And we're just showing you how the wicked is moving in these last days and how it's not going to get any better, man. And a lot of this shit that you see happening around the world, man, don't think that it's just coincidence, that these things haven't been orchestrated or planned or controlled by the powers that be, because it is. And it's only going to get worse until Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai takes this devil out of the way, man. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. To the next one, Shalom.